We had another crazy week in week 2. Let's react to all of these things that happened. And let's start right away with the New Orleans Saints. Yes, the Saints are 2-0. They just defeated a team that was thought to be far superior in the Dallas Cowboys. I'm convinced Clint Kubiak might be a genie. Right now, for fantasy football purposes, he sure is acting that way. Alvin Kamara, RB1. Derek Carr is quarterback 2 overall. Like Kamara, yeah, you could say like I could see that coming, but Derek Carr is QB2. Rashid Shaheed is a number 1 wide receiver right now in fantasy football. Like, what is happening with this team? We know that Kubiak is a really good offensive mind, comes from a good lineage of offensive minds, but man, I don't know that anyone saw anything like this coming. If you panic sold Marvin Harrison Jr., I don't know what to tell you. It was 1 week, and yes, I know the narrative was terrible. He ran 16.9 miles an hour and one of the slowest recorded for, yes, I hear all that. He's a beast. 8 targets, 4 receptions, 130 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The kid went off this past week. He heard all the noise. He heard all the rumblings. And he said, just get me the ball and see what I do. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a legit wide receiver 1 for fantasy football purposes. He is one of the top wide receivers in the NFL. And yes, I know week 1 was frustrating, but I think he's much closer to the guy we saw in week 2 than the guy we saw in week 1. Well, if you sold high on J.K. Dobbins, didn't feel great about what happened in week 2. Now, the jury's still out, but through 2 weeks, he has been absolutely electric. Everything you hoped for when you drafted a guy like J.K. Dobbins. In fact, J.K. is the first player on the Chargers since LT to have back-to-back 130-yard rushing games. J.K. Dobbins has been nothing short of amazing. This is an offense that wants to run the football. They're going to continue to run the football, and that's going to go through J.K. Dobbins. Yes, there'll be weeks where Gus Edwards is involved, and he's, maybe even at times outgaining him, but overall, this is J.K. Dobbins' team. He's the lead back. He's the guy that you want for fantasy football. The tight end position has been rough so far. In fact, I would venture to say that there's really been no player that has put up back-to-back good games. And even good is a pretty low threshold. I'm just talking 10 PPR points. That's it. Nothing that's exciting. And the only player that's done it, there's only been one. It's been Brock Bowers. Yes, you don't expect the rookie to be the one that comes in and is a consistent force in the receiving game. But Brock Bowers right now, you could make a strong argument that dynasty-wise, he should be the top overall tight end. That's right, top overall tight end in Brock Bowers. I love what I'm seeing out of him. He's a fantastic player. It's probably too late to buy, but if there's any window to buy where he is not being priced as the number 1 overall tight end, I would gobble him up. It looks like Isaiah Pacheco is going to miss extended time. That means Carson Steele is now going to likely be the main replacement for Isaiah Pacheco. And honestly, Carson Steele could end up being a league winner for people. The injury that Pacheco has could potentially put him out for the rest of the season and at least the rest of the fantasy football season. So Carson Steele is going to be the main back. Andy Reid wants to run the football at certain times and certain opportunities. We've seen that a lot. Good work usage from Isaiah Pacheco. Carson Steele can catch the ball decently well too. Yes, Samaje Perine will be there, but I'm calling it right now. I think Carson Steele could end up being a top 18 back on a points per game basis the rest of the season. I have received so much hate for saying it's so early in the Bucks backfield. Yeah, Rachaad White. Why are you saying it so quick? Look, the writing was on the wall last year with how inefficient he was. You got the draft pick in there, and everything they told us in the offseason, if you were reading between the lines, it's, hey, this is going to be somewhat of a timeshare. And guess what? It's been a timeshare. It's only 11 touches for Rachaad White to 7 touches for Bucky Irving. So once again, not great usage at the running back position for Rachaad White. And this has never been a Bucky Irving league winner type thing. It's been, hey, Rachaad White is somebody that you should be avoiding. Only 2.3 fantasy points this past week for Rachaad White. Not good news, Bob. Honestly, I think White will end up being one of the worst non-injury football picks for 2024. Last but not least, I want to touch on Nico Collins real quick. I think Nico has clearly asserted himself as the top dog in Houston. We weren't sure quite how that was going to shake out, but there were a lot of rumors and rumblings that, especially after that big contract, that maybe Nico is going to become that alpha receiver. And man, for fantasy football purposes, he definitely has. He is the wide receiver 2 overall right now in fantasy football, and he has been the leader in targets on this team both of the first 2 weeks and the leader in yardage both of the first 2 weeks. He's the top dog. He's the guy. Nico Collins, easily a top 12 receiver the rest of the way.